It's the biggest victory of his career for sure.
No, I'm hungry.
If player and coach aren't getting along, that's what happens.
Carlos Alcaraz, 7 Grand Slams, 22 years old. Jannik Sinner, 4 majors, 24 years old, 9 straight Grand Slams between them. Unstoppable. The future. The new kings of tennis. Then a legendary coach said something absolutely insane. Something that made Rafael Nadal explode on social media. Something that had Boris Becker firing shots within minutes.
Instantly, you go from coaching to literally, there's no settlement, there's nothing, you're done.
The entire tennis world went to war over one question. Are these young guns actually better than prime Djokovic, Federer, and Nadal? Because what happened next at the Australian Open exposed the brutal truth. And trust me, the legends are not happy about it. Patrick Moratoglou, Serena Williams' former coach, worked with Naomi Osaka, one of the most respected voices in tennis. When he speaks, people listen. And after the 2026 Australian Open semifinals, he dropped an absolute bomb. Djokovic had just beaten Sinner. 5 sets, 4 hours of war, 38 years old, somehow beat the guy who destroyed him 5 straight times. Most people saw proof the old guard still has fight, but Moratoglou saw something else entirely.
This guy, Carlos Alcaraz, in my opinion, is the most talented 2021-22 that I've ever seen on a tennis court. That's more than Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic, who I have great respect for.
He posted on Instagram, said, thinking Djokovic beating Sinner means the big 3 are better is short-term thinking. One match doesn't tell the story. Sinner won the previous 5 encounters, then Moratoglou went nuclear. He claimed Alcaraz and Sinner play better tennis than the big 3 ever did. Better than prime Federer, better than peak Nadal, better than unstoppable Djokovic. That's not a hot take. That's tennis blasphemy. And the legends, they absolutely lost it.
Alcaraz is a joke right now.
Carlos is on a pace to become the best of all time.
Rafael Nadal doesn't do social media drama. 22 Grand Slams, one of the classiest champions ever. But when he saw Moratoglou's post, he couldn't help himself. Nadal dropped into the comments with laughing emojis. Not 1, not 2, multiple laughing faces, the hand over mouth emoji, everything. It was basically saying, bro, are you serious right now? Then here's the crazy part. Nadal deleted the comment. Him or his team realized it might look bad, but the internet already had screenshots. Too late. The damage was done. The message was crystal clear. Moratoglou's take was laughable. But Nadal wasn't alone in this fight. Boris Becker jumped straight in. 6-time major champion, tennis legend, quoted Moratoglou's post and wrote something brutal. Patrick, I think you're alone with your opinion. No sugarcoating, no diplomacy, just straight up told him nobody agrees with you. Andy Murray also joined, dropped laughing emojis too. These aren't random fans. These are all-time greats saying absolutely not. Moratoglou's response? He doubled down hard. I never made an opinion based on what people think. Only dead fish swim with the stream.
It's maybe contract, maybe some other stuff.
Maybe Carlos's dad and Juan Carlos had a different vision. Some people think maybe they couldn't get a contract together.
This shifts everything for Carlos.
He's saying everyone else is wrong. He's the only one seeing truth. That's bold when multiple legends are publicly destroying you. But here's where this gets absolutely wild. Let's talk about what actually happened at the Australian Open, because this is the smoking gun everyone's ignoring. Djokovic walked into that semifinal as a massive underdog. Plus 810 odds, that means bet $100, win over 800, nobody gave him a chance. Sinner was the 2-time defending champion. Beaten Djokovic 5 matches straight. Younger, faster, hungrier. On paper, this shouldn't be close. And statistically, Sinner absolutely destroyed Djokovic.
I think Alcaraz will get the number because I don't think there are as many good players. Like when Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic were getting the slams, there were more outside players that could beat them, you know? Like there were more dangerous players. I don't think Sinner and Alcaraz can lose to anyone. Like maybe Novak, maybe not in best of 5.
I agree.
I can't see.
I agree with you 100%.
Because there's no serve bots anymore too. Like there's no Karlovic or Isner, you know? Like maybe Pericard, but I don't know. I can't see Alcaraz or Sinner losing.
Listen to these numbers. Sinner had better first serve percentage, 75 to 70, won more points on first serve, 80% to 71. Second serve was better. He crushed 26 aces to Djokovic's 12, hammered 72 winners compared to 46. One more return points, one more total points. By every single stat, Sinner was superior, and yet Djokovic won. 3-6, 6-3, 4-6, 6-4, 6-4. How is that even possible? Because tennis isn't played on spreadsheets. Djokovic saved 16 of 18 break points. 16. When Sinner had chances to finish him, the old champion dug deeper than humanly possible. That's not luck. That's not a fluke. That's championship DNA forged over 2 decades. That's the mental edge that made the Big Three legendary. Stats don't measure heart, don't measure experience, don't capture what it's like being in those pressure moments hundreds of times.
Acaba un año, se tienen que ver ciertas cosas a nivel de contratos y bueno, pues como en todo contrato, digámoslo así, nuevo, ¿vale? De cara a lo que es el año siguiente, pues uno tira para un sitio y los otros pues tiran para el otro.
Djokovic has 24 Grand Slams, 38 major finals. The man's a robot programmed to win tie breaks and save break points. Sinner's incredible, but he's still learning that mental warfare. And that match proved everything. But wait, because Roger Federer decided to throw a grenade into this debate. During the Laver Cup, Federer went on Andy Roddick's podcast, made a claim that shocked everyone. He suggested tournament organizers are deliberately slowing down courts to favor Alcaraz and Sinner. Not a little slower, deliberately manipulated. Why would they do that? According to Federer, slower. Courts mean weaker players need extraordinary shots to beat Sinner. Fast courts, they might only need a couple big serves at the right moment. Slower surfaces reduce upsets, protect the top seeds. Tournament directors prefer Sinner-Alcaraz finals because it sells tickets, works for the game. That's a massive accusation from one of the sport's most respected figures. Alexander Zverev immediately agreed, said he hates how uniform surfaces have become. Feels like directors want Sinner and Alcaraz succeeding everywhere. Sinner was asked about this, gave a diplomatic answer. Me and Carlos, we don't make the courts. Not our decision. We adapt to every situation. Fair response. But here's the thing. If Federer's right, if courts really are tailored for the current top 2, doesn't that prove the point? Maybe Alcaraz and Sinner benefit from conditions the Big Three never had.
Sinner and Alcaraz are going to wipe out a lot of generation. You know, it's like what the Big Three did.
I hate it when they do that.
Yeah, and I'm really annoyed that Sinner's not an American. I mean, it's like a German guy, an Austrian. You know, learn to speak German. He lives there at a ski.
Prime Federer played lightning-fast grass at Wimbledon. Prime Nadal dominated slowest clay on earth. Prime Djokovic conquered everything between. They adapted to wildly different surfaces, beat each other anyway. Surfaces didn't protect them, they conquered them. Now let's talk numbers, because this destroys Moratoglou's argument completely. Djokovic has 24 Grand Slams, Nadal has 22, Federer has 20. Combined, the Big Three have 66 major championships, dominated men's tennis for 15-plus years. Djokovic alone was world number 1 over 400 weeks. They didn't just win a lot, they won everything, against each other, for over a decade and a half. Now look at Alcaraz and Sinner. Alcaraz has 7 slams at 22, genuinely phenomenal. Sinner has 4 at 24, also incredible.
Alcaraz kind of flipped it. Like, I don't know that I had seen it. We've obviously seen people sneak in, but I think his speed is different than anyone else we've seen. I think his ability to inject pace off of, you know, hit one chip and then inject pace really quickly off the next one.
9 straight majors between them, absolutely dominant. But here's the context nobody talks about. They're doing it while the Big Three are retired or pushing 40. Alcaraz's biggest rival? Sinner. Sinner's biggest rival? Alcaraz. They're not facing prime Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic simultaneously. The Big Three had to go through each other. When Djokovic won Australian Open 2011, beat Federer in semis and Nadal in final. When Nadal won French Open 2013, potentially faced Djokovic and Federer. When Federer won Wimbledon 2017 at 35, Nadal and Djokovic were still elite. The difficulty level was astronomically higher.
happy that Spain finally has a good male tennis player, right? Like, thank God they waited hours.
But you know what? I feel like, honestly, if the next 10 majors, if literally nothing happens to Alcaraz and Sinner, what would you put the over-under on them winning the next 10?
All 10?
Let's be real about competition depth. Right now, outside Alcaraz and Sinner, who's the threat? Zverev, who's never won a major. Struggling Medvedev. Fritz, who's great but not that level. The Big Three era had Murray, Wawrinka, Del Potro, Tsonga, Ferrer, Berdych. All capable of beating anyone. Competition was absolutely stacked. Alcaraz and Sinner are incredible, but they're dominating a weaker field. That's just facts. So what do real experts think? Because legends are weighing in with serious takes. Rick Maxey, legendary coach who worked with Serena and Venus, said something interesting. Put prime Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, and Sampras in today's game with modern equipment, they'd absolutely be the same level as Alcaraz and Sinner. His reasoning, the mental edge. Tennis is a game of inches. The Big Three's ability to execute under pressure was the separator.
I'm really annoyed that Sinner's not an American. I mean, it's like a German guy, an Austrian, you know, learn to speak German, he lives there at a ski. Shouldn't he have grown up in LA? Maybe
I don't know. You know what? I think we can all just be happy.
That doesn't change with technology or court speed. Dominic Thiem, 2020 US Open champion, who faced all of them, said Sinner and Alcaraz are just as hard to beat as the Big Three were. Notice he didn't say better. He said just as hard. That's crucial. Even Boris Becker, who praised Alcaraz and Sinner after the French Open, calling them exactly the same level, drew a line when Moratoglou said better. Told him he's alone in that opinion. There's a difference between incredibly talented and better than the three greatest players in history. Greg Rusedski made the smartest point, said Sinner and Alcaraz play at a level never seen before. But the Big Three would have reached that same level with today's conditions, technology, and training. The game evolved. Doesn't mean current players are superior to past greats who would have evolved too. Here's the brutal truth nobody wants to say. Moratoglou is wrong. That's exactly why Nadal laughed at him. It's not disrespect to Alcaraz and Sinner. They're not better than prime Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic. That's reality. Those three didn't dominate 2 or 3 years. They dominated 15+ years against each other through injuries, through changing surfaces, through new generations trying to dethrone them. They adapted, evolved, kept winning. Alcaraz and Sinner have been dominant since 2024. That's about 2.5 years. Anyone who watched tennis in the 2000s and 2010s knows this. Every few years, someone emerged as the next big thing, ending the Big Three's reign. Del Potro, Murray, Wawrinka, Cilic, some even won majors, but none sustained it.
This one kind of comes sudden, middle of December. You feel like there was a lot of rumors swirling over the last, 18 months, watching maybe Carlos's documentary, seeing maybe the dynamic with Juan Carlos and Carlos, obviously, just maybe clashing styles just a little bit.
Facing that level of competition breaks most players. Right now, Alcaraz and Sinner beat each other and aging Djokovic. Impressive, but not the same. If prime Nadal, Federer, and Djokovic were 25 today with modern training, does anyone believe they wouldn't win majors? Federer's serve-touch movement were unmatched. Nadal's physicality, forehand, mental toughness were legendary. Djokovic's return game, flexibility, clutch gene still gives Sinner nightmares from that semifinal. These weren't just talented players, once-in-a-generation athletes who peaked simultaneously, pushed each other to God tier levels. Maybe that's the real test for Alcaraz and Sinner. Can they sustain this 10 more years? Keep winning when bodies break down. When younger players chase them? When pressure of being favorites weighs on them every week? Because that's what the Big Three did. They didn't have hot streaks, they built dynasties. Statistical comparisons at career starts are impressive.
Don't get these long-term contracts. It sounded like with JCF and Carlos, they did have a year contract because it was up at this point. A little odd that they gave him only 2 days to re-sign it. And obviously, it didn't agree on his side and that was it. But I just feel like if it's between, the player and coach. They had a conversation about it. It's not working.
Alcaraz matching Nadal's 50 wins in 60 Grand Slam matches is incredible. Sinner's trajectory mirroring young Djokovic and Federer is remarkable. But you know what's more impressive? Nadal winning his 14th French Open at 36. Federer reaching Wimbledon final at 37. Djokovic beating Sinner at 38 despite being 8-1 underdog. Longevity matters. Sustaining excellence matters. Until Alcaraz and Sinner do this another decade, they haven't earned the right to be called better. Not even close. Moratoglou can stand alone with his opinion. The rest of us stand with the legends who know what it takes, dominating tennis 15 years straight. Time will tell if Alcaraz and Sinner reach those heights. Right now, phenomenal talents having their moment, but better than prime Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic? Nadal's laughing emojis said it best. Not even close. So what do you think? Are Alcaraz and Sinner already on the big threes level? Or do they need to prove it over the next decade? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you love tennis drama like this, smash that subscribe button because this sport never stops delivering chaos.